everybody, it's time to kill two birds with one stone. We're gonna do a 2020 movie review and a Patreon review all in one video. Royce Bunn asked me to review one BR, one bedroom, and this is a very recent movie. It's on Amazon Prime. You can stream it for a few dollars. Is it worth it? I think it is. Is it fantastic? No, but it's a good movie for a first-time director. Hell yes. Or at least that's what I heard, that this is a first-time directing job for this guy. I didn't write his name down, but when do I ever write names down? Never. So, the plot synopsis for the film. This is about a young girl, Sarah, I think is her name, Sarah. She moves into LA to start a new life. She gets a job at a law firm as like a temp, and she's just trying to live on her own and prove that she can do it. She has a rough past with her family, her dad, some conflict there, and she's just trying to start a new life. And then when she gets into this new apartment, some crazy shit starts happening, and I don't want to spoil anything else. I'll keep this spoiler free for now, and I will do a spoiler discussion after my rating. So, the only mixed thing about this movie that I like and don't like about it is the main actress. I thought she was good in a lot of areas, but the only area that she just wasn't selling it for me, like I didn't buy it, where I thought her acting was a little bit weak. I'm not familiar with this actress or how many things she's done before, but when she had to be in distress and cry for help and scream, it didn't feel real. Like it wasn't even a real attempt at trying to call for help. As for the things that I like about this movie is that I think the whole movie is very well paced and it's a very intriguing premise. And things happen sooner than you would realize. Like you think, if you go into it blind, you think it's going down this generic, like there's a crazy guy living at this apartment complex route, and then it just kind of goes in this other direction. You're like, where is this going? And it really just keeps you glued. You don't ever look away. You're never bored. It just keeps you invested, and you're invested because this main character is a very well fleshed out, very sympathetic character that you can relate to. She is this pushover. She just doesn't stand up for herself, and she has a very strong arc by the end of this movie. You're really on board with her, and she's a cat lady too, so points for that. She has an adorable cat. So I just like her character, and I root for her, so that's why I like in a movie, especially a horror movie, I like a character that you can root for, and she's the main lead, she's the main character we're following, and she's a good character to follow, and she's well acted. This movie shows how easy it is to manipulate people. It's psychological. It's like a psychological thriller. This isn't like a slasher movie at all, but it does raise some interesting points. I don't want to spoil too much, but it just shows how easy it is to break someone's mind. Let's just say that. I like that this movie gets very emotional at times. There's a lot of emotional moments, like with the main character's dad, who just so happens to, I think, be the guy in Friday the 13th Part 6. I think he was one of the paintballers. But yeah, there's some very good emotional moments in this movie, and a pretty decent third act. It was a little lackluster for me personally. I've seen a lot of people liking the ending of this movie and comparing it to other movies that I have not seen, but the ending was fine. Like the whole movie overall is good, but it's not great. Like I said, very intriguing movie. Like it's never boring. It's well acted and well shot for a first-time director. It's very competently made. It's low budget. It's one location, and I think they utilize this one location very well. And even the music at times I really liked. I liked the score for the film. And as for any things I don't like, little things I didn't care for, it's just really the ending. I just the last 5 minutes or so, I just felt a little unsatisfied. Maybe that's just me, I'm sure it is, but I just felt like there should have been more here, more punch, more of an impact. I just kind of felt a little sour at the end, like, oh, that's it. I felt like when this movie ended, I felt like there was another 5 minutes coming, and then it was just credits. I was like, oh, that's it. I thought it was building up to something, and we're gonna get this big climactic ending, but maybe it's a budget thing. Like, there's hardly any deaths in the movie, hardly any, just like no gore at all. I just wish there was more carnage in this third act. For me personally, just was not satisfied. And that's really the big thing I didn't like about it, was just the ending was like, meh. Not terrible, but I was just like, man, I wish there was more here. Final thoughts. I thought this was an intriguing, very interesting psychological thriller with some good performances and just some really interesting things that happened throughout. And the ending could have been slightly better for me. I wish it would have packed, like I said, more of a punch. But overall, I left it satisfied. But it's not something I think I'll ever want to like revisit. It was a fun watch, but just nothing terrific. So when it comes to 1BR, I recommend that you stream it or rent it at Redbox. Alright, spoilers. So we get Sarah and she's moving into the apartment, this 1-bedroom apartment, and it's like a smoke-free, no pets apartment, and the guy's like, do you have any pets? And the way she says no, it's so obvious that she's lying.
Missed one here. Any pets?
No.
Like it hard cuts then like to the next scene, and there's her big old orange cat, Garfield looking cat, adorable. But don't get too attached to it, because that little cute kitten is getting thrown into the oven later on by her love interest at first. And I feel like he was a little miscast, because she because he's not really that attractive. I mean, I'm not into guys, but looking at him, like, she acts like he is like Brad Pitt or some shit. Like, he is so like a 10, just like a model, and it's like he's not that attractive. I feel like they should have hired somebody like really gorgeous, because the way she was talking about him, like, she was just always talking about him at work, and just like, he's so stunning. My next door neighbor is so hot. It's like, no, he's not. He's average. But whatever, that's just my opinion on his looks. Maybe you think he's smoking, but I did not think he was properly cast. But then we see Edie, who was a former actress, and this one lens guy, he looks like, the typical weirdo at the apartment who's probably going to be the killer. There's something off about him, but then he ends up being really the good guy. He saves her towards the end, he helps her out. And the good-looking neighbor, the hot guy, he's actually the one that she should have been worried about. But so he's got one lens on his sunglasses because his other eye is like the one with the shade over it. It's like missing. He got stabbed in the eye, so he has like the one black shade over it, and the other one just has like no lens at all. It's like, why not just wear regular sunglasses with both lens in them, instead of just walking around looking extra dorky, you idiot. And he's got like a missing ear too. So then we get this thing with like the loud pipes rattling at night. She can't sleep, and she's run out of Zoloft, which is like a antidepressant, I believe, like anxiety and depression. And yeah, I can see why she's depressed. After we learn about her dad, her mom died of cancer, and her dad was pulling a Thomas Crowley from Hatchet 2, and he was fucking the nurse that was helping his wife behind her back, and she died not even knowing that her husband was cheating on her with the nurse. So then one night she sees that the door is open. Somebody must have broken in, and she freaks out, and she goes to like shut the door, but then she sees Edie roaming the halls, and then goes to help her, and she leaves her door wide open. It's like, A, you just thought someone might have been sneaking in and out of your room. Why would you leave the door open to just invite people in? B, you have a cat that you're not supposed to have that could also just walk out the front door now because you left it wide open. You idiot. Shut the door. They're like leaving threatening notes like, no pets allowed. Some people are allergic, you bitch. And so then we see how much of a pushover she is. She's like a doormat. She just lets people walk all over her. Her boss walks up to her like, I need you to clock out and then continue working. Never would you see me comply with that order. I'd be like, fuck you, fire me or I'm quitting, because I would never do that. Like, oh, you want me to clock out and work for free because you don't want to pay overtime? Fuck off. So, and then she gets attacked, and it's like so soon into the movie. Like, I went to this blind, so this attack was like, oh shit, this is already happening. I didn't know what kind of movie I was in for. And so, like, it's the neighbor, the cute neighbor, attacking her, and she finds her freaking cat, her adorable cat, in the oven, baked, just on fire. The smoke alarm's going off, and then she's like asking for help from this doctor lady down the hall, and then she finds out that everybody's in on it, and then they throw her into this room, and it turns into Saw basically, except a much tamer version. She doesn't have to like give blood or anything. She just has to sit in a very uncomfortable position with her hands up against the wall. So, and that would just suck having to stand there. They never say how long she had to be in that room. They do like this montage where it just kind of goes through time, but I'm not sure how long she had to be in that room. They gave her like a pot to piss and shit in, and they kept giving her like shakes to drink and eat. So I'm not sure how long she was in there, but that would just be absolutely torturous. I think I know myself very well, and I think in that situation I would just take the bullet. Like honestly, like I don't know, I have too much pride. I don't want you to make me look like an ass. I'm not gonna be your bitch. I'm not gonna take any orders from you. Fuck off. Shoot me now. Like I would die trying to leave that room the first hour. I wouldn't put up with that shit at all. At least that's what I think I would be like. I don't know. I'm not sure how much I would be put through before I would snap. I don't know. Like, I just don't think I could take that shit. Like, I would not be pissing and shitting in no pan for you. They're watching. Like, that's gotta suck for them too. Like, somebody's always watching her. Like, as soon as she like puts her hands down, they're in there. Like, not even 5 seconds later. So it's gotta be almost as equally boring and terrible for them because they're just constantly watching this chick 24/7. That's gotta suck too. But at least they're not uncomfortable like she is. So maybe they're like taking shifts and like there's just different people like, all right, tag, you have to watch her for the next 10 hours. But yeah, it's just very intriguing. Like, where is this going? Like, what the hell? Why are they doing this? And you find out like this whole hands on the wall thing is just their like initiation. Like, if you can do it, you can join their community. And they basically worship this god who wrote this book about communities and how to make the perfect one, and it can like end poverty. Like they just got all these weird beliefs. They're like their own cult, really. It's like a cult movie. Kind of reminded me of like Midsommar because they got these weird traditions too. Like as soon as someone's like weak and they can't contribute to the community there, they off them. Like as soon as Edie, the former actress, is coughing and she's too weak to do whatever her role was. I'm not. We're never told what her role was. What was she doing for the community? They kill her. They put like a bag over her head and they like pump gas into it to knock her out, I guess, so she can suffocate in her sleep. Just that's their humane way of killing her. And yeah, like when that scene was going on, like they make it look like they're there for her, like just balloons and she's in her bed. It's like a hospital setting. Like it's like they're all there, like get well soon, but no, they're gonna kill her. Like as soon as that scene was happening, the main chick thought that they were there just to comfort her. I was like, they're about to fucking kill her, aren't they? It's like, yep. And they just put the bag over her head, like they're Billy from Black Christmas, just suffocating her with a hefty bag. And then they start, but when she's in the room, with the hands on the wall, they're like doing like the psychological warfare with like music. I think that's what we used to do to terrorists or some shit. Like, I've seen it in the movies where and it's in Small Soldiers too, where they start playing like Spice Girls real loud to like get people to like go nuts and like leave the house. Like you're coming out, like comply, or we're gonna keep blasting Spice Girls. They're just blaring this loud, awful music in the room to drive her nuts as she's like already going nuts because of the wall and because she doesn't have her Zoloft no more, so she's already getting depressed because of that. Like you can't just go cold turkey with no more Zoloft. You gotta wean yourself off of that shit. You can't just go cold turkey. And she's getting headaches because of the lack of prescriptions. Yeah, she just lost her only friend in the world, her cat. So this chick is put through the ringer psychologically and physically, having to hold up against the wall like that. Oh my god. So the first time she lets go of the wall, they crucify her, they hammer her. This is when it becomes Saw right here. This is the torture. Psychological before and, having to just put your hands on the wall. But since she slipped up, they just nail right through her hand. It's awful. And she is still like, it's a little frustrating, like how much she's just like I said, she's a major pushover. Like you tell her what to do, she's gonna do it. So she's like, all right, fine, hammer my hands. That's another moment where I would have been like, you know what, fuck this. Give me the bullet, shoot me in the face. I don't want this no more. You ain't nailing my hands to the wall, motherfucker. But yeah, she just sits there, she takes it, gets the nails through the hand, and she like rips them off later on when she passes. And then we see like the scars on everyone else's hands. So everybody there went through the same thing. At some point, they gave up, and then they got the nails in their hands too. And then we see that they're like schooling all the kids there too. So like they're not even allowed to leave the confines of their own apartment complex. Do any of these people have daytime jobs outside the building? Because we never really see anybody leave. And they have a doctor, which is mind-blowing. Like even the doctor, the smart, intelligent woman who went to college, got a degree, became a doctor, you would think that mind would be hard to break and to brainwash into believing your bullshit. But they got through to her. They broke her too. They brainwashed the doctor, for crying out loud. And so yeah, it's like, do they leave? Do any of them, like, where's the money coming from? I guess there's just some higher up that we never get to see in this movie. So that's for the sequel, I guess. And this movie really does, I think, set up a sequel. Because I'm curious who's leading the thing. Like, they, at some point, kind of hint that, I think, maybe I'm misremembering this, but I think she implies that maybe their cult leader, the guy who wrote their Bible, basically, he faked his death, maybe? She's like, he's been dead for 30 years. I mean, maybe. Is he dead or is he not? Maybe that's for the sequel. We'll find out. And then we get like this airplane moment where they slap this girl who's like panicking, and then they get in the line, and then the next person, they slap. Next person walks up, slap. Yeah, it was because this guy lied. Like, they're all about openness and telling the truth. And this guy, I guess, was lying about something. They have like an AA meeting type thing. They're sitting in a circle and chairs. This guy's like, I got something to confess. And like, oh, here's your punishment. And they all just start slapping him like one after the other. So it just reminded me of Airplane. And then like when she succeeds the game, so to speak, they give her this really weird Q&A. And the first question is like, who are you into? Are you a heterosexual? Are you a homosexual? It's a very interesting question because now I'm curious, like, if she said I'm gay, would they kill her? Like, we don't see any gay people in this movie. So now I'm curious, like, what would have happened if she said, I'm into women? Would they have killed her? Like, you're not a candidate. Get out of here. Or, like I'm curious if they're a bunch of homophobes. Because, like, that was their question. Like, that was question one, right? Like, who are you into? And then question two was, tell us about your first sexual experience. And then that's it. Like, that's the only two questions we hear. I'm not sure why the hell they need to know that. That's another interesting thing. And then, like, they try to, like, make the handsome neighbor somewhat sympathetic. Like, they give him this story, like, about why he joined their little cult. Like, oh, I was in the war and I came back, PTSD, I had no family, I was broken, and they fixed me. And it's like, there's nothing this character's going to say to make me feel bad for him or to understand him, because he put a cat in an oven. So fuck you. There's nothing he's going to say that's going to make me go, oh, okay, well, I forgive you now. No. I like how they're all about openness and being honest, but then the chick is like, well, who's watching us? Because they're in the room watching, like, the monitors. I thought it was all about trust and openness. Like, you can't trust each other. They have, like, cameras in everybody's rooms. In their bathrooms, too. Like, cameras aimed at the fucking toilet. That's not trust. That's there's no privacy here. That's another thing where it's like, dude, I would leave. But she's like, well, who's watching us? Like, we're watching them. Who's watching us? Because she sees the camera in that room, and he's like, that's none of our business. What happened to being honest and open? Somebody's keeping secrets up there. So you're breaking your own rules. To me, that's clearly breaking the rules. They're not being open. So yeah, then we get, Edie, she has to go. She's the weak link. She can't contribute no more. So nursing homes aren't an option. Like, just kick her out. If she can't contribute, just let her go. Nope, we gotta put the old Billy garbage bag over her head instead. And then we get the branding, like when you become the member, they put this little branding thing on the back of your ear. Weird spot, but hey, I guess it's not so noticeable. And her dad comes and they let him in, and it's like very emotional. Like, I feel bad for this guy. Like, yes, he's a piece of shit. He cheated on his wife when she was dying of cancer, but this scene, the way their acting is in this moment, like the dad and the girl, like, I thought they were great in this scene, and just the things that she's saying, I don't blame him for I don't blame him at all for slapping her. Like, the next time I want to see you, we'll be at your fucking funeral, Dad. And she's saying this not wanting to. Like, I don't think. It's just that there's a guy behind her dad, like, going to stab him in the back of the skull. And she's like, I gotta get him out of here. What do I say? I gotta say something to get him to leave. So it's just a heartbreaking moment. So then the old friend is there to take Edie's spot. And this is 6 months at this point. It's been 6 months since she won that game. And she's been willingly staying there for 6 months. Even after they give her like an arranged marriage. Like, not really married, but might as well. The one lens guy, they put them together. Like, oh, he lost his wife to cancer right before you came. Was it cancer? I think it was a garbage bag that fucking took her out. But they arranged them together, and she's like hesitant at first, but she just caves in once again. She's still a pushover. Like, fine, I'll be with this guy I'm not attracted to at all. I wonder if they ever had sex. We don't get to see it. I'm curious how far that went. I doubt it. But her old friend at work is now taking Edie's spot, and she's putting up a fight. She doesn't act like Sarah. When she's put in that room, she is fighting and kicking back. She ain't taking shit. She's like me. Like, no. She would rather take the bullet, and she does. And it's a shocking kill. Sarah goes in there to like help her out, to be like, just, it's not as bad as you think. Like, she's brainwashed at this point. It's interesting too, because I'm not even sure if she's really brainwashed or if she's just putting on a show because she knows that they're listening and watching, and she just wants her friend to make it through the process, and then maybe she'll help her out later on to escape. But she's like, no, this is a great place. And she's like, they fucking brainwashed you. And she's like, no, it's a great place, really. But then the other guy comes in. He's going to like hammer the screwdriver through her. And she says something to like make her realize that she's been brainwashed, to snap her out of it. And then she like hits what we think is the leader in the throat with the screwdriver. They walk out of there, and then boom, she gets shot right in the back of the head. Did not see that coming. But then she throws like a hammer or something at him, and then like tackles him to the ground, starts stabbing him a bunch with the screwdriver, like, die. She's like Michael Myers and Rob Zombie's Halloween 2, die. And but yeah, I'm not sure if she was I think she was brainwashed, maybe. I'm not sure at what point was she fully brainwashed, or was she still putting on a show? Like, was it all an act? I'm not sure. So she takes the gun and she's trying to escape. Like, get back, everyone. And there's so many people around her. Like, the fact that nobody tackled her, because, like, come on. Like, it would be easy to take her out in that moment. So it's a little bit of a nitpick. Like, there's so many people around her, and she's only holding, like, the gun at one person. And she's, like, not even looking to see if anyone's, like, charging at her, like, ever. So at any moment, she could have gotten her ass tackled, and that gun would have been taken away from her very quickly. But I like when the love interest from earlier, he's like, you ain't gonna pull that trigger, and she just shoots him right in the face. Like, what was that? That's what I thought. Like, yeah, you didn't think I was gonna do it? I've learned better now. I'm not a pushover no more. This is my life. I ain't gonna be brainwashed no more. So fuck yeah. Like, that's her arc. She's finally a better person now. She ain't gonna just let people push her around no more. She tries to storm out of there, but then she's like caught in between the door and then her arranged lover, her new husband, with the glasses comes over, gets the gun from her, shoots a couple of guys, and then blows his own brains out. And then she's in the street. You think that it's over. She won. She got out of that crazy place. But then all the alarms for every single apartment building on that block has like their sirens going on. Like, someone escaped. So every single building, it has the same community setup going on. Like, they all worship the same person. They all are doing the same exact thing. Really? That's just a bit silly. Like, really? Like, there's that many apartment buildings getting away with this shit? No one's escaped? Like, would the police even believe her story at all? Like, that would be a crazy story. Try selling that to the police. Like, yeah, they captured me. They made me put my hands on the wall. And they, like, I'm not sure how you would get them busted for that. Like, I don't think the police are an option. But yeah, just all the buildings are going off. And then she's, like, clenching her fist like, I'm ready to bro down. I'm going to brawl, kick some ass. No one's capturing me again. And then she just starts running down the street. And then roll credits. It's over. It's like, what? I thought there was going to be, like, something else after that. Like, it was building up, and I thought that it was going to go somewhere. Like, people were going to start, like, storming the streets. It would have been a much more fun ending if everyone just started, like, coming out of the buildings, and they just kicked the shit out of her and killed her. That would have been a much more fun ending for me, at least. But yeah, she's just running down the street, and then it's like, it's over. Like, did she succeed? Were they going to start, like, storming out and kill her? We didn't ever get to see that. So, but yeah, overall, I enjoyed it. So that's 1BR. What did you think about this movie? Put all your thoughts in the comments below. And as always, if you like what you've seen here and you want to see more, become a subscriber today just by clicking on my cartoon face in about 5 seconds and hit this like button. I'd really appreciate it. And as always, auf Wiedersehen.